In this video, we are going to look at how to create a quiz in Canvas. Now, when it comes to Canvas, a quiz refers to an online exam. The first thing I want to do is click on the Quiz tab. If this tab is not activated or enabled, you will want to do that first by going through your course settings. Once enabled, you can simply click on the Quiz tab. From here, you want to go ahead and select the Add Quiz button. You will be brought to the details page for that quiz. Here is where you can enter the name of the quiz, in this box, I can enter any instructions that I would like to give to the students. This is where I can select the quiz type. This can be a graded quiz, a practice quiz, a graded survey, or an ungraded survey. For today, I'm going to leave this as a graded quiz. If you have weighted groups enabled for your grade policy, you can go ahead and select the weighted group where this exam will exist. So I will put this quiz in my exam group. Now, there are a lot of different options when it comes to the quiz. So a lot of these you can look at on your own, but I'll cover just a few of the basics. This is where you can go ahead if you want to shuffle answers for each question. Here is where you can add a time limit for the quiz. You would select time limit and enter how long the quiz will take. This is where you have all settings regarding quiz responses and student feedback. You have the option to show one question at a time. And if you select this option, you have a further setting to lock questions after answering. Now, if you would like to add Respondus Lockdown Browser or Respondus Monitor to this quiz, you can go ahead and select this option here. This is where you're going to enter in your due date. And now if I scroll back up and I select the Question tab, this is where I'm going to start building out my quiz. What I want to do is select New Question. I can give my question a title. I call this question 1. I can select the type of question, multiple choice, true and false, fill in the blank, essay question, and so forth. As for grading a quiz is graded based on the number of questions and points per question. So for example, if I have 50 questions in this quiz and I want the quiz to be out of 100 points, I would need to change each question point value to 2. In this box is where I will go ahead and enter the question. Here is where I'm going to enter every possible answer for this question. Now, if I have this question already in a Word document, I can go ahead and cut and paste the answers and the questions into these boxes. So I'm going to enter in a series of responses. And now what I want to do is I want to select the correct answer for this question. In order to do that, I can hover over the correct answer and click on the green arrow. You will see that the possible answer has now become the correct answer. Next, I want to select Update Question. This will save everything and all of my settings for this question. As you can see, question 1 has been created. Now I can go ahead and I can select a new question and begin with question 2. Give it a point value, select the type of question, enter the question, and follow the same steps. When I'm done with the quiz, I can choose to either save it and publish it at a later date, or I can go ahead and save and publish the quiz now. I'm going to go ahead and save and publish. As the professor, I have the option to go in and to preview the quiz to make sure that all of my settings are correct and all of my questions look okay. So here I am inside of this quiz, and if I wanted to preview it, I can select the preview button either here or here. As you can see, here I have one question at a time. Here's my question. I can go ahead and answer the question and say submit quiz, and this will give me a view of how the student will see the quiz on their end. If I happen to add Lockdown Browser or Respondus Monitor to the quiz, the next step is to activate the Lockdown Browser tool in your menu bar. To do that, you will scroll down to Settings. You want to select Navigation. You want to scroll down and look for Lockdown Browser. You want to click and enable the browser. And scroll down to the bottom of the page and select Save. As you can see, Lockdown Browser has now appeared on my course menu, and I can go ahead and select that option. This will open a small tutorial video that you can watch. There are video tutorials, getting started guides, and other resources on using this software. And you have the option to continue directly to Lockdown Browser. As you can see, here is the exam that we created, and I have required Lockdown Browser as part of this exam. If I would like to use Respondus Monitor, which is a monitoring software that will videotape the students using their webcams taking the exam and flag anything that it deems to be an issue, you can go ahead and select this down arrow next to the exam title and enter your settings, where you will find your advanced settings for Lockdown Browser. Now each of these has a little explain window. If you hover on it, it will explain what these settings do. So you can go ahead and look through each of these and select which settings you would like to activate for this particular quiz. In order to activate Respondus Monitor, you would have to click Require Respondus Monitor for this exam. You will be brought to a window explaining what this software does, and you can click Continue to Respondus Monitor. From here, you have access to your startup sequence. This is the sequence that the students will go through prior to taking the exam. For example, they may need to show their ID or show an environment check, and you can preview each of these and what these mean. You do also have advanced settings. And again, you can make any setting options you want. You can select any of these or deselect any of these. Once your settings are in order, you can go ahead and say Save and Close. If I return now to Lockdown Browser and continue to Lockdown Browser, you can see that now Lockdown Browser and Respondus Monitor have been activated for this exam. Once the exam has been complete by all the students, and if you happen to be using Respondus Monitor, the area that you will go ahead and look at the recorded videos of the students taking the exam will be found right here when you click on this down arrow next to the exam and select Class Results.